Thank you. Thank you for, I hope you enjoyed the short clip from Nepal Tourism Board. Now we're starting our program. Thank you, everyone. Today is the beginning of International Education Week. So welcome to International Education Week. Also, welcome to Morgan State University. This week, the November 14th through 18th is International Week in the United States. This is a national initiatives to celebrate the benefit of international education and exchange program globally, particularly at schools, colleges, universities, embassies, and international organizations. In the room, we have presence of university thought leaders, faculty, students, scholar interested in international education. We have about 60 minutes ahead of us to explore Nepal as a study abroad destination for our fair Morgan State University. My name is Krishna Bista, Professor of Higher Education at Morgan State University. Across the nation, we are celebrating again International Education Week. And thank you for joining us for this morning, evening. This is one of the sessions in the series of International Education Week at Morgan. To start the program formally, I'd like to invite Morgan State University visionary leader, Dr. Jakob Esteki, Assistant Vice President of International Affairs, for his brief opening remarks, maybe a minute or two. Over to you, Dr. Esteki.
Okay. Yeah, good morning, Dr. Bista. I guess a good afternoon to our colleagues from Nepal and other regions of the world. We welcome you to our national treasure. Like Dr. Bista indicated, today is the start of International Education Week, and not only at Morgan, but across all universities in the US who celebrate International Education Week. We are very proud of all our international students, our international faculty, international staff members. And this is a time for us to come together and learn from each other's cultures and experiences. I'm sure this is going to be an amazing activity. And for our international guests, I also Provost Yu, he will try to join us sometime this week. He's been very busy, but on behalf of Provost Yu and Morgan State University, and of course our president, David Wilson, I want to welcome all of you to Morgan State University. And this is the official start of International Education Week. Dr. Bista, I'm sure this is going to be an amazing trip to Nepal. I wish you great success and looking forward to see what comes out of this amazing opportunity. And I want to say thank you to the organizers of this event. And I'm looking forward to attending all the other sessions throughout the week. Have a successful International Education Week to all our guests. Thank you.
Thank you so much, APP Steki, for your remarks. We will hear from our host institutions, the President Subedi, Chairman, Vice Chancellor Koirala. We will hear from them. They have been to Morgan State University, and thank you for following up from our previous relationship. We are so grateful. Also, you will hear from our faculty colleagues who have been working hard at Morgan State University, including Professor Panthi, Professor Paudel, Professor Gali. There are, more information ahead of us. So as you see on the pictures on my screen, we have beautiful, part of the country, all Himalayas and things that will attract us to visit Nepal. That indicates why and where and how we are organizing this program to Nepal. It's a long flight, as you see here, from Maryland, Baltimore, all the way to Kathmandu, capital city of Nepal, about 17 hours flight. The price of the flights are depending on when you book and when you are going. There is only one major international airport in Nepal, Kathmandu International Airport. However, that will connect you to other regional airport across the country. So the price depends when you purchase your flight. And you will hear more information those later on in our Q&A sessions. So this is the capital city. It's a metropolitan, very urban, about 5 million people. And the Kathmandu itself is a small, just 19 square miles, very tiny. However, the Kathmandu Valley is a very wide. It includes 3 major city, including Kathmandu, Bhaktapur, and Lalitpur, about 256 square miles. This is the place with many colleges, campus, and universities in the valley. So this is a glimpse of the main Kathmandu city. Then the main questions comes why we are organizing this trip, and we are planning about 10 days, 7 to 10 days, depending on the cohort of students who are interested to go Nepal. Nepal, as you saw earlier in the video, is a very unique Himalayan nation, very attractive for the scholar and student to explore socio-cultural fabrics such as languages, festival, architectures, to understand the discourses on equality, inclusiveness, civil rights, and many other areas. You can live in Kathmandu Valley, which is the home to 7 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and Morgan has established a strong relationship with the local institutions, including Kathmandu Model College, Midwestern University, and Tribhuvan University. You can take or teach classes, research, do collaborative research with faculty and expert there, activists and academicians who have, done their work on important issues. While in Nepal, you can visit organization institutions to understand how they work with the government, non-government agencies to make meaningful change in their society. You can learn Nepali language or attend yoga or meditation sessions from expert while staying in our sister institutions. You can visit local museums, palaces, national parks to learn about history, architecture, community development, and collective actions for the social greater good. You can trek from the village to village along with the ancient Himalayan trade routes going as high as 13,000 feet to see the community development, as well as Nepal's remarkable biological, geological, um, and cultural diversity. On the top, you can research a topic of your interest as an independent field study or gain credit bearing internship in Nepal. We have few courses. Dr. Kimberly Warren has been doing those, and also I teach international education course in the doctoral program. That could be something you can consider. Um, so with that, let me introduce our host institutions, Kathmandu Model College and its network institutions. They have 15 institutions, and we have spoken with the thought leader, visionary leaders over there, to talk about accommodation, teaching sites, meaning the colleges across the Kathmandu Valley, and the places to visit, as well as pairing mentor and mentee and other important sites. I invite President Subedi from Kathmandu Model College for his quick remarks, who has been to Morgan a month ago. Over to you, President Subedi, Surendra Subedi.
Thank you, Dr. Vista. First of all, I would like to welcome all the participants coming from Morgan State University, as well as from KMC and other institutions of Nepal. I just would like to take this opportunity to thank Staki and all the representatives from Morgan State University. And we really have to host the faculties as well as students who are planning to visit Nepal. As Dr. Bista already mentioned, Nepal is not only popular for its landscape, for Himalayan and other peaks, but it has cultural diversity, other geological diversity, and in 7 days, I think it is quite difficult to explore all the things, but we try our best to give better exposure in culture, as language, and other part of Nepalese culture. And the faculty members as well as students will be joining the visitor coming from Morgan and host them here in Nepal. Will develop the modality for overall program, as we have already shared our itinerary to Dr. Bista, and he has also shared to us. We'll collaborate and finalize the really, I the next step of our collaboration, and we'll be happy to move.
Thank you so much, Principal Subedi, for your remarks. This is the video. I hope you can see. We request Professor Dr. Upendra Koirala, Chairman of Kathmandu Model College, former Vice Chancellor of Midwestern University, who has been to Morgan University for our sister relationship. Now over to you, Chairman Koirala.
So, thank you very much, Professor Bister. After a long gap, we are just going to be very close in this meeting. I'm really, at this moment, I recall our very historical event that we meet with your president and your vice president and all the faculty member, including Uttam Goli. And on top of that, I got information from our colleague and the principal, Surendra Subedi, who narrated me in detail your meeting and how you initiated interaction regarding mutual collaboration between KMC and your university. And at this moment, I should say I apologize because I could not arrive on time because there was my serious meeting, a university meeting. And as soon as I arrive at my home, I just telephone our Surendra Subedi principal, sir, and I'm joining you. And I don't have to comment more than that because what happens, you see, if I start delivering a speech on the subject on which I don't have knowledge, I'll be the most fullest one. So I'm the most appropriate person at this moment to listen your valuable thoughts. And rest of the thing, our principal Surendra Subedi and our friend Santosh Timishina, they will really share the valuable insight of our institution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Koirala. We appreciate your visionary roadmap for the institutions and also for the relationship with our Morgan State University. We appreciate. And now we go back to our slides. We have some more some pieces of information over there. Let's take a look. See, I'm resharing it.
This is good.
Okay, yes, I was telling this one very close to our host institution, one of the UNESCO religious site.
Mhm.
The architecture that is very famous for the architectures is in the hometown of our host institutions, probably about a mile or two. This one is also very attractive for any visitors. Pottery making, how local art and crafts are designed, done in the hometown of our host institution. And this one I was talking earlier, the valley, which is away or outside the Kathmandu, and you have a regional airport to go there or by bus. I would say about 40 to 50 miles away from capital. And the national parks, they are outside the valley. And these Himalayan villages are about maybe 75 to 100 miles away from Kathmandu, but you can see the snow-clad mountains anywhere from Nepal. And there are 14 top peaks in the world and many other minors. This is one of my favorite one in Nepal. And some colleagues were talking about the currency. This is the currency rate. So 1,000 local currency is about $8. So we were estimating how much it would cost for a week. This is the lowest one, or maybe average, depending on where you go and how you spend, for the hotel or meals or any local transportation. There are fairly reasonable hotels, or you can stay with the host families. Usually the airfare is expensive depending on when you book the flights, from 1,000 to 2,000, and another 1,000 could be, I would say, more or less enough to stay 7 days or maybe about 7 to 10 days in Nepal. There are some experiment the American student have tried living a dollar a day, which was possible, and there were some documentaries on that, but it's fairly reasonable depending on how you spend. Our colleagues were also asking what would be the sample itinerary. This is just tentative ideas of how we'll be planning a week or 10 days stay in Nepal. We can plan more than 10 days, but again, depending on the cohort of students that go with us, undergraduate versus graduate or doctoral faculty and students. Usually first couple of days, you will be working with the host university or the colleges, co-teaching or visiting or working together, and a couple of days exploring sociocultural, sides of the Nepal, visiting World Heritage Museum, And depending on your interest, you can also look into, the gender issues, social justice, these are the very important topics there. Martin Luther King has been to India, and Indian and Nepalese sociocultural fabrics are pretty much similar. I was also looking into who were the first African American to visit Nepal, and they were back in 1930s and 40s and 50s. Mostly the agro-scientists, agricultural scientists were the first African American to visit in Nepal. So many of these, historical backgrounds are similar with our African American heritage and cultural legacy. And also, you can spend a couple of days exploring on your own to those local attraction. But this is tentative. And here are some of the activities that you can do, including the dance, teaching students over there, or going to health clinic, some of the adventures, elephant ride or mountain rides, local dance, and, yogas and meditations. There are lots of things, Nepal can offer. Host institution can help you to pair with interested students and faculty. Some of you were asking me about the temperature. The weather in Nepal is fairly, I would say moderate. Cold in January, December, similar to US here. But you can see the high and lows, their highs is pretty much high all the time. You can see 65 degrees all the way to 67 degrees, and then lowest 38 degrees. But usually January and February and December, I would say these 3 months are colder compared to, here in Baltimore or other part of the US. Transportation, you have all sort of transportation in Nepal. For me, it's been many years, that I have not frequently, visitor of Nepal. But it's still, as I Google and ask my colleagues over there, you have lots of options for transportation, and it's reasonable. It's right like something riding the local bus here in the US, a couple of dollars for your local distance, and about $5 for the Uber or taxi. And they have a different version of Uber that you can use. And our host institution is also willing to provide transportation for you. So this is the time to open discussions. We want to hear from our students, host colleagues. We have, I see the Professor Wells and other colleagues from the School of Education who are highly interested. Please feel free to unmute your microphone and put your questions to Morgan colleagues or colleagues who are willing to host you for our summer trip.
Hi, is it okay just to jump in, Dr. Bista? Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Simone Gibson. I'm in the School of Education, specifically in teacher education. And my question for my colleagues who are in Nepal involves access to schools, as well as access to teacher training, faculty, and students who are pursuing education. A part of what we started doing in our department of training teachers, is going to other countries to try to understand what does teaching and learning look like within different schools, what does preparation of teachers look like, what does support of parents who are supporting their kids as they're in school look like. So a curiosity of mine really involves opportunities. Is there the opportunity to come and visit with schools of education, with professors who are training students, as well as are there opportunities for us to physically go and observe and visit schools?
Principal Subedi, would you like to address that question?
Okay, I think I would like to request some of my colleagues to pick up as well. But to first of all, to Shimoni Gibson for your question and queries. Is Kathmandu Model College is a part of KMC Educational Network, which has different educational institutions starting from playgroup to higher level to graduate. We say PG to PG. We have our one school as well, and the teacher who would like to have experience of teaching in the school of Nepal they have the opportunity. They will have the opportunity to go and visit our school. And if you want to go to the public school of Nepal, we can arrange that kind of visit as well. But I think if we have this cohort and we can design the program differently for cohort to cohort, I think it will be possible. But I cannot assure that if we manage program person to person, then we need the support of other faculty member who take care and collaborate with the faculty coming from Morgan, so that we can match our interest, who can contribute from the KMC, wish of the faculty who come from Morgan. I think that is possible as well. But institutionally speaking, we can design a program for one cohort.
Thank you, Principal Subedi. Yes, Kathmandu Model College and its network are the group of private institutions, and they have their own private school in the heart of the Kathmandu Valley, with plenty of students, I think about 2,000 plus students. So yes, that is a possibility they can organize. And Dr. Simone Gibson and Dr. Thurman Bridges are from the Department of Teacher Education. So they are more aligned with the pedagogy, course, lesson planning, and those things. And many of our faculty at Kathmandu Model College and its affiliated institutions have a degrees from education background. So I am optimistic that they can pair faculty for those visits or organize teaching. Particularly our undergraduate student can teach at Kathmandu Model School located in Bagh Bazaar or other areas. That's I'm hoping, that's my hope. Let's open for other questions. Let's hear from our colleagues. And Dr. Gibson, if you have a follow-up.
Yes, I'm sorry. Just one more question. First of all, I also want to recognize Dr. Wright. She's also our colleague in teacher education. I see her lovely face on here. My last two questions, then I'm gonna shut my mouth, I promise. If we are to plan a trip to come to Nepal so that we can see schools and visit with faculties who are training teachers, is there a better time of the school year to do that? For instance, classes let out in May here, but I don't know, classes may go year round, depending on the country, the schedule looks a little different. So is there a better time to do that? And also, if you could talk about funding opportunities, if you are aware of any. Again, if we, we're just kind of dreaming out loud here right now, right? So if you could share best times to plan a trip for that, to come and visit schools, and also if you're aware of funding opportunities, and then I'm gonna shut my mouth. Thank you.
Okay, Santosh sir, please.
Yeah, so I was just trying to tell, like, I work as an assistant in University of Finlay when I was learning TESOL over there. So I was assistant of cultural department, Dr. Hiro Kawamura. So what I did was, as you said, the cultural exchange, teaching and learning, I did the same thing exact over there in the US. We used to go to their plus two or their senior level or school level, and they used to ask us questions. We used to reply them with their answers, and then what they're in their brain, like stereotypes mainly. So the teaching learning differences, everything. If we can ourselves do that over there in US, it's possible, ma'am. We will try our best to fulfill what you want. We as a team will do our best.
Okay, to answer your question specifically, summer is right in Nepal since we do not have holiday at that time, and we mostly there is a closure of school at the time of vacation in October or November. That is our festival vacation, and in terms of school education up to grade 10, K10, only March can be the holidays, only March, but from April, we resume the school, we restart the school, and it continues in the time of summer as well.
Thank you very much. And we like to see a copy of your academic calendar, so that will help for planning our future event. As Principal Subedi mentioned, October, November, or early October is somewhere is a national festival holidays. Otherwise, they have a school year around. And you know, our trip can be organized. Was proposing over the summer. Regarding the funding, Vice Chancellor, Chairman Koirala has, a bit more knowledge of the networking, and I hope there would be some local support for those students and faculty who are willing to be at Kathmandu Model College. And for our students at Morgan, please reach out to our department as well as the Office of International Program. In the chat room, I hear from Rihanna King, who is also one of the award-winning essay writer for our Morgan Global Footprint contest. And she is also asking the same questions about the funding for the trip to Nepal. And then host institutions is also willing to provide some support, related to accommodation or local transportation, other areas. Any other questions? We have Professor Tijani, Executive Director of International Programs. We have Dr. Wrights, who has done a number of study abroad programs, including UK and Netherlands. We have Thurman Bridges, the department chair in the room. We have Dr. Estaki. Yes, we'd like to hear your questions.
Dr. Vista. Oh, excuse me.
Okay, I think it's better. Yes, I actually posted my thoughts in terms of your programming, and particularly marketing to students, even faculty on our side, what we probably will be looking at. Interestingly, not many people believe that even the enslavement of Africans predates the trans-Saharan slave trade and the making of what is today the North America, South America. And I think it's an area that might be of interest even within that short period, both for students as well as for faculty and staff interested. And it will also give us a deep insight into the Cold War period and how Nepal played out within the context of the Asian group. Also important is the issue of migration, climate change, because when you talk about the Himalayas, you want to look at within that context, how do we do a comparative study on the democracy and governance since Nepal's independence. So 10 days are not too short. It may be for some, but it's also something that I think will be so enriching to all. And I think it will be a worthwhile for students and faculty to look into this. The other issue of funding is for those in Nepal, I've always said this, to also look into possibility of getting funding within
Dr. Tijani, you are muted there. Yes, I'd like to give a couple of examples of the previous trips that I have been part of. The one I truly remember with the Midwestern University, where the university has provided some support, and there were a group of faculty members that that I went with, and basically Kerala and his team were outstanding. Principal Subedi has done another outstanding work with the Tribhuvan University, where we were able to reach out more than 150
Hello, can you hear me now?
ambassadors across the country. So there are local support.
Hello?
Yes, over to you, Dr. Tijani. Professor
Hello, can anyone
Tijani,
hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me
Please
now?
continue.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we do.
Okay, okay, okay. I'm so sorry. You know, I was, oh, this is what I was trying to avoid. I was using my cell phone to admit people since you asked me to do. I was saying something about the fact that despite the 10 days or more, there's a lot to learn if we choose to go to Nepal. The history, I'm looking at it from the historian's perspective. And I stated that long before the transatlantic slave trade, there was indeed the trans-Indian ocean slave trade, and how Africans were enslaved in the Asian continent. Having said that, we also should be looking at the role of the Cold War and what Nepal did in terms of being on the side of the winning team. It's also something that we can look at. And more importantly, the role of Peace Corps and their various activities to win hearts and minds of people. Lastly, I mentioned the fact that Himalayas and the other mountains and what have you are good ways of comparatively studying climate change across the globe. But above all, it will be both a sound cultural immersion, and I strongly believe that learning will occur. Funding, I'm advising that even on the side of those in Nepal, to reach out. An institution, you can reach out to those embassies, and you can always invite, colleagues from this other side, but you have to go into the embassy, go to the education, go to the political affairs. The same thing even with the British Council. There is unannounced funding and grants. So you exploit, you plan. It's all about preparation, preparation, preparation.
Thank
For
you.
those from this side, they cannot do that, but you welcoming can. And it has been done before. Thank you.
Thanks. Now let's hear from Professor Ben Wells from School of Education and Urban Studies. I see his digital hand raised.
Yeah.
Yes, hi everyone. I just had a quick question. If you could someone could talk more about the teaching opportunities at the various institutions that we will be visiting. And also, I guess, for the students present, any learning opportunities. I think you meant, Dr. Bista mentioned briefly there would be courses, but I didn't hear any details. So thank you.
Thank you, Professor Wells. I was coordinating with the Principal Subedi about the courses they can teach. I was asking him, can they teach any course that they are interested? Can they do co-teaching the courses of their interest? And his answer was more or less yes. And let's hear from Principal Subedi.
Hello, Ben bro. First of all, thank you for your query. First of all, we are trying to get the information from the side of Morgan about the faculty members and their area of expertise. From which department they are planning to come to Nepal, or let's say if we can know about the interested subject area, then we are planning to connect our in terms of those visiting professors coming from Morgan. So not only from the side of faculty, we would also like to know about the interest of the students from undergraduate level as well as from graduate level. We can just see the list and we try to explore the students from KMC as well, who are planning to host those students coming from work. So that let's make a list, a wish list, what you want to do, what kind of subject you want to teach, so that we can fix the faculties and we can match the faculties who will be hosting you or hosting with you. So there are lots of opportunities. Without knowing the subject area or area of interest from the side of Morgan, I think we cannot offer because there are lots of areas that we can offer. And I will close with Professor Bister in terms of matching the interest of the faculty coming from Morgan and the contributing faculties from KMC.
Thank you. Professor Wells has a follow-up question, I guess. I see his hand there, but quickly I want to chime in. The application form will open shortly, and interested student and faculty member will share their information, and I will be working with Principal Subedi and his team after his visit to US and Morgan State University. The good news, they have formed a committee, task force, and a division to look after this particular program, as well as any other future collaborative initiatives. So I'm so pleased to hear that they have resources and support from the top executive leadership team, which is good news. So yes, I would be your point of contact at Morgan State University and my department. Once we have the list of interested faculty and students who are willing to go for this particular study abroad in Nepal, then we will have a follow-up information, the matching the mentor and mentee, and inviting for you for the orientation. And then we'll have a group booking, the flights and other logistic, things that we have to do. Dr. Wells, any questions to follow up? And now the doctor writes, I see your hand raised.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Dr. Bista, you mentioned that this would be during the summer. Do you know what the projected dates are or months we're looking at for this study abroad trip?
We were thinking right after our spring semester. If this is too late or conflict with other ongoing trips, we can change the date so we can have a follow-up. And that's something I will be working with our department, our school colleagues, including Dr. Bridges and other colleagues, to find out which date is, probably the most suitable for us. Right now, it's still tentative. We are looking summer, and we're a little behind if we want to go, to book the flights and those things. Yes, Dr. Bridges or Dr. Querela, I see the microphone on mute. Please go ahead. Dr. Bridges, over to you.
Quickly, I might have missed it, but did you have a projected number of students that you wanted to take this summer? And what's the weather climate like in Nepal during the summer? I know I can look that up, but I'm just curious.
Summer is beautiful, similar to here. It's not cold at all. I would say somewhere from 65 to 75 or 80 degrees. Yes. And the number of students, I was thinking about 10, a manageable, reasonable cohort, so that, we'll have enough hand to work with them and to give them fully, full exposure to the local events. But it's up to the KMC and their leadership team. And that includes, few faculty colleagues as well. Professor Koirala or Surendraji, if you have more. I see another hand raised. Please, go ahead.
I have only one recommendation as per, regarding summer. Late summer is much rainy in Nepal, so I recommend to make it in early summer.
Great. Okay.
Mr. Will you kindly allow me to share my few words, because I have to join after 4 minutes in another meeting.
Please go ahead, Professor Koirala, please.
Really, I'm not getting any words to express my gratitude to you for your serious and sincere concern for formulating a strategy for developing the higher education in Nepal. I'm really thankful to you. At this moment, I should not be conservative to speak the hospitality that I received from your president and your vice president and all the professors of university during my visit in your university. We had a very extensive idea exchange. And I remember your vice president was also one of the participants in the reception program organized by the ambassador of USA from Nepal. So at this moment, I really express my thanks to Simon Gibson, Tijani, Henrit, Lee Hollis, Hakim, and Benis Wells, and the Two-Man's Bridges for exploring a very critical ideas and the possible areas, and Mika's Ducat too, the possible areas where we can develop the program for the development of quality education in Nepal. My request is, our principal is very dynamic and he's a very proactive man. On top of that, our QA director, Mr. Santosh, is also a very versatile personality. And it is my candid opinion, let us join hands together. We want to learn a lot from the academic personalities of Morgan State University. And KMC is one of the most leading education institution in Nepal. My request at this moment, I think our principal, Surendra Subedi, is also joining in this program. Let's have a critical analysis of all the things and sort out the areas where we can exchange the faculty member, we can exchange the student. On top of that, we can make, joint degree programs and the curriculum which we can use in both the university. And for this purpose, I can talk to the authority of the Trivandrum University as well. So rest of the thing, after 2 minutes, I have to join another meeting. So I express my thanks to Mihas, Duquette, Henry Tawrit, and Thurman Bridges, Ben Wallace, Lee Hollis, and Simon Gibson, and all the vibrant personalities. You have invested your valuable time in this and the interaction program. Again, my thanks goes to Professor Bista, and I'm eager to see you in Nepal with a package of academic program which we can jointly execute in two sense to transform the higher education in the context of Nepalese environment. So will you please, my namaste to you all. And although I'm not I'm really very in a very awkward position. I have received telephone from another meeting, and in the same time, our faculty member Baburam Timsina, you also please watch all these things. And after your meeting will be over, I'm sure you will really communicate me. I should not communicate, you will really educate me the whole, gist or synthesis of the program. And with all these, I thank you all. And Professor Bista, I'm eager to see you in Nepal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bisi Koirala. Yes, this is a part of the study abroad, and Principal Subedi has discussed a number of other areas, including exchange program for faculty, course, exchange, 2-year 2+2 programs, and too many other areas. And our AVP Astaki and the team has been working on that. So yes, you are a visionary leader, and we appreciate your leadership and your support to grow the institutions as well as to expand our network. At the same time, I'd like to give an opportunity to Mr. Duckett for his question. And we are also top of the hours, and I am being mindful about your time. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Duckett. Thank you, Bisi Koirala.
Please permit me to leave this meeting. I have to join another meeting.
Please do so.
Thank you, sir. Okay, sir.
Mr. Duckett, yes. We didn't hear you. All right, we didn't hear you, Mr. Dakid. I think your microphone or something mute. Any other questions we have? Definitely we'll follow up soon. We can take one more question before we go.
If there are any queries from the side of the students, I would like to inform all the participants there are faculty member as well as the representative of students community circle from the side of KMC. So if there are some queries from the side of the students coming from KMC as well, you can also put forward your personal queries.
Thank you. So yes, this is a great gathering. We appreciate Dr. Wright, Mr. Spencer, our doctoral student, Principal Subedi, Director Dr. Tijani, Ben Wells, Professor of Higher Education, Professor Kalpana Thapa, Santoshji Sena Pandey, Sagar Karel, Franca, and many other colleagues, Rihanna King, for your great question, Carla Belli, another doctoral student in the program, Pushpaji, Rameshji, my classmate, Rajendra, Santi Subedi, professor at the university. So all of you, thank you. If I miss your name, forgive me. Thank you for your time. We'll be in touch and have a great day and great night in Nepal.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Krishna.
Thank you much.